Yeah, line of callers.
Tell people to call because it's the last time they'll ever get a chance to talk to me.
Olivia is a band.
I can Skype in. I got that Skype premium account.
Yeah. Pray.
Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, we'll find a friend to care.
We are Our Place Out Loud. I am your lovely and captivating host, Louise Palanker, here with a panel of wise and thoughtful and intelligent and attractive teenagers. We've got Aaron. It's not only you, Ryan. Everybody here is spectacular. We've got Aaron, Kiamute. We've got Austin, Olivia, Maddie, Ryan, Alex Silver, and in the control booth we've got Jake. Do you have a camera today, Jake? Yay! Jake has a camera.
That's enthusiasm.
Hee-haw! And we have a very special guest in the studio. She is gorgeous, hilarious comedian, Shawn Pelofsky. Everybody,
Hello.
let her know.
You're all fired.
Currently wearing my hoodie because she's sitting right next to the air conditioning, and I think she's looking quite fetching in that hoodie. And so,
Marry me,
Shawn.
Louise.
I would love to, and we can now legally do that in this state. So we have some news, and some of it is not too happy. This is Olivia's last night before she goes to Emerson. Can we say what school you're going to?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we time travel and not say it? No. So we have said it. So Olivia, please pretend it's Big Brother and tell us why we shouldn't vote you out.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, I'm going to miss it here.
You're going to miss it here.
I will.
Yeah,
it's been a big part of my life for like 3 years now.
But you're still going to be a mod in the app, and you're still going to be calling in.
Yep.
And you're still going to be, what, giving advice in the app? And
yeah, I'm mainly in the puberty section because some of the advice other kids their age give them it blows my mind. Blows my mind. They're like, oh, put 2 tampons in, no problem. And I'm just like, no, don't do that. You will die.
A little bit of misinformation.
Wait, you can die?
Especially the guys, as Howard said, the guys, not a good idea for the guys. All right, so stay in there, and you know what? In fact, if you're in puberty and you're giving advice and you just think something, please qualify that with, I'm not sure, but I heard.
My
Don't
favorite
just tell
is,
people to do
my
something.
friend heard from her friend that a doctor once told her friend that it's true, so therefore it's real.
Oh, well, that is qualifying it, I
Yep.
guess. And then Ryan and Aaron had some news. Jake and Aaron. Okay, the combination of people had news.
Right.
Okay, but that wasn't the news, but it's kind of tied into that.
Well,
Okay.
Ryan and Jake have something. They'll go first.
Well, no, because ours ties into that. We'll talk first.
Just figure it out.
Okay. Well, then, in that case, Ryan, Jake, Austin, and me, Aaron, we are going to be doing a new show dedicated to video games and I guess somewhat technology. But
Yay.
so it's going to be really cool. The first show is going to be this Saturday.
The name of the show is?
Name of the show, Our Place Games.
And they can hear it and see it in this very location at what time?
What
Pacific.
time? I believe it was it, 1 o'clock, you said? Yeah, I think it's 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock Pacific time, which
Pacific
will be
time.
4 o'clock on the East Coast.
That's correct.
And something o'clock if you live elsewhere.
Yeah, fair enough. And it's going to be very exciting. It's our first show. It's going to be live. We're going to record it and edit it later, so it'll be a different show when you watch it again later. So it's an exclusive, kind of live deal, so be sure to tune in. If you have any questions, we'll answer them as best we can. If you want to comment, if you have your own review, that'd be interesting. So, yeah.
Feel free to call in and talk to us about the games if you know what we're reviewing. It's basically going to be just reviews, ratings, analysis, and then kind of just us talking about our favorite games in comparison to this one.
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever we're talking about.
And if there's any news, we'll toss that in as well.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I think I just turned 85 sitting here. So, thanks, guys.
So, Shawn, you don't play any video games at all?
I mean,
Solitaire?
I think she likes comic
Solitaire.
books
I do. How did you know that?
because you're wearing a Superman shirt.
Oh, gosh. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's out there. I do like comic books. I do. I like sci-fi, comic books. I like fantasy. But no, I don't get to sit around and game much. But I do have nephews and nieces that do. So I try and keep up with it. But as good as I probably am not at that, I don't really try it that much.
Well, maybe we can, if you listen to the show, we can get you, up and
Really?
running. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have enough problems in my life. I need to be on video games next.
Well, what's
huh?
great about video games is they're pretend problems, and when you
Really?
stop playing, they
mine
go
aren't?
away. Oh no! Yeah, I'm sorry, but yours are true. So Maddie had a shout out, or did we get any shout outs in the app?
Yeah, we did. The question was 2 words to describe your back to school mood. And Sports Rule said excited and nervous. KT Bug Rocks said excited and nervous. And Maddie 13 Rocks said excited and glad. And B Dog 9 said nervous and unhappy.
A lot of nervous, a lot of excitement.
And Rye Guy said Rye Guy said nervous and unhappy.
Oh, you don't want to go back to school, right, guy? All right. Well, it's never too soon to be a dropout.
He doesn't want to show his cut shave face.
So,
Stop making fun of me.
should we go to the phones because we were gonna talk to Shawn a little bit and learn more about her life, because Shawn is a young comedian here in the big city making her way, and what kind of adventures led to you being hilarious?
Oh gosh, I think it starts. I guess it started when I grew up Jewish in Oklahoma. That is
Wow.
funny within itself. You're looking at her, and my family was always really, really funny. And I knew as a kid that I wanted to kind of go into this business we call show when I played the Wicked Witch of the West in 2nd grade. And I guess I was so nervous and so excited, I actually melted before Dorothy threw the water on me. So I remember the audience laughing. I liked the sound of that. And as a kid, I used to watch Saturday Night Live, and I did impersonations and characters. And from then on, I went on to USC and School of Theater. And really, after that, I started working. Actually, while I was in college, I was working with the Groundlings in training then. And then after school, I joined Acme Comedy Theater, and I got tired of sketch and went into stand-up, and here I am now.
In stand-up, you can kind of sing your own tune. You don't have to get all your sketch people and get organized. You can
That's
just
true.
go
No
and
wacky wigs.
Yeah,
just
you
the
can-
hair on your head. You go out there and do it, and you really, you are your own showcase. So
Yes, you're the writer, producer, director, performer.
That's right.
You're the show.
That's right.
And just the fact that somebody will always be able to, it's so low tech. You can entertain people with just you and a microphone and maybe a stool if the club is fancy.
That's right.
And and people have turned that stool into every prop it needs. That you can ever imagine.
Yeah, ask Bobby Lee. I've
Yes.
seen that prop used one too many times, but yeah.
Yeah, but
No.
they'll turn the mic cord into a prop.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the mic cord as a thong bikini. I've seen the mic. we could explain what.
It wasn't me. It wasn't
And
me.
the microphone itself
we need a very
becomes,
long
becomes a
mic cord for that.
telephone.
What?
The microphone becomes a telephone.
Yeah.
It becomes a gun. It becomes things we won't talk about.
Oh, I was going to say what I used it for, but you already just said it. So go ahead. Yeah.
So, any questions for Shawn, young people?
Well, never mind. Okay.
Why do you look like Barbara Streisand? Well, I broke my nose 4 times. Oh, that wasn't the question. Sorry. I was trying to be a puppeteer.
I have a question. So I know that as a stand-up comedian, you have to sort of create a flow with the audience. Am I correct in this? You have to sort of grab their attention, then work with them because it's sort of give and take. Am I right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So I was wondering, do you have interesting stories about that? How you got the hang of doing that, or if you've ever had one that it just didn't work, or?
Well, I think everybody has a moment that doesn't work, probably more than we'd like to speak about. But
I really can't relate to this.
But what I would say is because I did have training, extensive training early when I was at college in improv, that kind of prepared me, I think, to be a little bit more fearless. And so what's happened with, people write jokes, they have their material, they go out there, they do their shtick or whatever. But as time goes by, I've been doing this for years, and what happens is you get so comfortable, you should be at this point comfortable in your skin. And so what happens is I go on stage now, and a lot of my material is I improvise with the audience and work off my feet. So I think that people really enjoy that. And it just depends who you're in front of. You've got a corporate gig. I was the first female to go to Afghanistan, entertain the troops, more ways than one. And then I also, and right now I work a lot amongst, all gay male men on cruises, and I have a big gay following. So your material varies. I mean, what I'm going to do there is not what I'm going to do at the JCC, and I'm not going to do it at a kids' party. So it depends. But yeah, of course, you got to be fearless and thick skin in this business.
I
that's
need to
for
see
sure.
your gay cruise set. That
Probably
sounds-
not apropos for right now.
No, not right now. But I always hire her for the JCC, which is the Jewish Center, and so
we still push it with
oh
them, though.
yeah, Shawn likes to jump off the stage and work it with the.
We call it bringing it to the people.
Oh yeah, she goes table to table. Austin.
Okay, so you've known what your craft is for a very long time. And I'm wondering if that has ever negatively impacted you socially, like at school, college
Nobody
in
likes her.
particular.
Yeah.
No, you know what? It has only helped me. But again, I was fortunate. I was very outgoing as a kid, and everybody through grade school and high school, junior high, even as awkward as I looked, because I had yellow permed hair and it was yellow, and I was Hakuna Matata. I was the Lion King. But even though like nobody was having sex with me, I still was a popular person.
You're not supposed to have sex in high school. Shawn.
I didn't say high school. I just said in general.
Okay.
How do you know it's still not happening? Anyways, always try. But I was always just out there, and I definitely have always been an extrovert. So I think I was comfortable in my skin, and it's never affected me negatively.
But I have a question for Austin. Why? It's interesting that you phrased it that way. That you said, "Has it affect you negatively?" instead of just assuming that it would be a positive, like a way to make more friends.
Well, I was thinking of it in terms of like spending time not socializing, preparing your craft, for instance.
Oh.
I mean, I could see how that would be less applicable to something like theater or something that's by nature extroverted.
I think that the only time it has affected me negatively is dating. When a guy hears what I finally do, and they're like, "What do you do? That's awesome. I'd really like to see you perform." And somehow, when you're funnier than the guy that you're with, then again, you got to be really strong man to handle that, because I'm in the limelight and I work. And I'll be funny, and I'll be funnier than you.
Yeah, no, you have to date a really confident guy. And
you know anyone?
I'm Alex Silver.
Soon Chris Hansen
Meet
comes
your
in
wife.
to catch a predator.
No,
What are you doing with these chips and condoms?
Oh, God. I don't know if the viewing audience is aware of that show yet.
Oh.
Hopefully not. But yeah, I mean, I have noticed this. I mean, I'm not as big a character on stage. I do stand-up comedy as well, and I'm kind of more of a shy tomboy. But Shawn is very big on stage, very powerful, and when she walks out on stage, everybody's paying attention to what she does. So that is a good question regarding that aspect of her life, Austin, because a guy could, think she's really cute and really sweet and really funny, and then see her on stage and she's just a powerhouse. And you're like, how do I compete with that energy? Because men have this instinct to want to be in control. Alex?
Did you have any like prime influence when you were young or now even? Like someone you try to like feed off of for kind of the
like
vibe?
a role model that I
Yeah.
Oh,
In
yeah.
the industry though.
Yeah, it was Bette Midler.
Okay.
Well, the Divine Miss Set was the one who inspired me to do and go. Definitely my main inspiration.
Oh, you have to tell your Bette Midler story. It's so the best.
Oh God.
Is it just going to make... Okay.
Well, it's a long...
No, you can shorten it. Make it snappy.
Everyone has... Do you have 7 hours?
It ends with 13 minutes of crying.
Well, it's either that or the tragic When I Met Garth Brooks story. They're all tragic, really. I mean, or when I met like every So You Think You Can Dance dancer, I'm also tragic that way.
With
I'm
that
obsessed
show.
with I have weird obsessions, and one of them is So You Think You Can Dance. So thank you. Hello. But it's gonna get real gay in here all of a sudden. But Bette Midler was always, the person, everyone has that role model that they love, and they can never imagine being in the same room with that person. And right after I graduated college, I was cast in this show, which was some off Broadway show that came from New York to LA briefly, and it was called Dressing Room Divas, and it was about like five celebrities that were stuck in a dressing room. So they had like a Meryl Streep, they had a Joan Collins, and they had a Liz Taylor, and so I played the Bette Midler role. So I had a friend who is the assistant to John Goodman. And she and John Goodman got invited to the premiere of Gypsy, which was the TV version of Gypsy that Bette Midler played the role of. So John Goodman couldn't go. My friend took me as a guest. We went to the Roosevelt Hotel, and they had the big screening. And then afterwards, there was the party afterwards, and I was kind of milling around, kind of rehearsing what I was going to say, to my idol, because it was going to be a very monumental moment, and she was going to meet me, and we were going to be BFFs forever. And so I kind of rehearsed what I was going to say, and I was standing around. There were a bunch of gay men around me because she has a big gay following, and she was standing holding court with about 5 people, and they were, and she's real tiny in person. I mean, her feet are like this big, and I'm only 5'3", but like I towered over her. So she's talking to about 5 people, and something in me said, if you don't talk to her now, you're never gonna meet her. So I don't know what crazy moment I thought what was going in my head, but she was holding court. You should never really interrupt somebody holding court with 5 people. And just like that, in slow motion, I reached over to behind her, which is crazy. And I reached over behind her, and I tapped her on the shoulder in mid-conversation. She's holding court. She kind of turns around, and she's kind of timid in person, actually. She's not as brazen as like I am on stage and in person. And she kind of like stepped back, and I said, "Excuse me, Miss Midler, my name is Shawn Pelofsky," like she gave a shit. And I said, "I just want to let you know your performance tonight was absolutely breathtaking." Fine, getting through it. And then suddenly something in my head was like, tick, 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 boom. And my voice started to raise like 100 decibels. And I was like, "And in my eyes, you're a god." I like ate Bette Midler. There was like security said, they're like, "Jewish girl eating Bette Midler." And she had shrunk like in The Little Mermaid, when like all the sea people like shrink. I mean, I never saw anyone so scared. And you could hear like gay men gasp. Everyone was like, "Ah!" And then it got really quiet. And then she took a moment and she goes, "Goddess, honey, goddess." And then she turned back around politely, and then I cried all the way home.
Oh my gosh!
So that was me meeting.
And
Bette Midler.
the end
Great
of the
story.
story, the good news is that Shawn now pays Bette Midler's rent because everything comes around. Isn't that right, Shawn?
Really?
You're huge.
I
And
pay
you
her
take
rent.
care of her. Yes. I don't know. I didn't know where I was going with that, but
I have no
I
idea
wanted to
either.
make it so that in the end, it turns out okay. You really should talk to your idol. You shouldn't. I don't think there was anything wrong with what you said, and I don't even think there's anything wrong in the way you did it. I just think that the way that it looks to you, you shouldn't have done it. But did you guys hear anything that was inappropriate there?
No. But over time, what happens is you remember a moment, and it just magnifies in your head. And so, what happened then in that moment of anxiety probably wasn't the case. Like I've had that happen to me when you meet like a famous person, and you're just there, and time seems to be elongated, and you seem like the biggest idiot in the world, and you're like, what did I just do afterwards? And I feel like you were the coolest person then to her, like somebody who would have broken up a conversation like that.
Well, I'm not definitely the first person. I became close with one of her main writers, Bruce Valanche. And so
Bruce Valanche.
We were talking recently, and he's like, "Listen, he knew that story about me." And he goes, "Listen, I've been with Bette when she met the Queen of England, and all that came out of her mouth was, 'Love your necklace.'" And she got home, and she was like, "I can't believe that's what I said to the Queen. I love your necklace." But he said, "I really want just you to sit down with her." And I said, "I don't think that's a good idea."
Why not?
Because I don't think I can control myself.
Yes, you
and
can.
B, I think she's got like a picture of me on her wall, so we're like, "This girl's crazy."
No, I don't think so.
You don't have a perm anymore.
Huh?
You don't have
No,
the
I
perm
don't. I
anymore.
don't have a Kuna Matata hair.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I think we should arrange a summit. I think it would be a good idea. And you were on the phone with Bette?
Oh,
And
God.
so can you make it happen, Howard?
Oh.
Howard's very powerful.
He says no.
I'll bring the Starbucks. It's the loud girl. All right, so we've got Mrs. Chris Colfer holding. Hello, Mrs. Colfer. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Are you enjoying listening to Shawn?
Sort of.
Or were you...
Well,
That's Bette Midler on the
the
other one.
career's over. Thank you.
Are you watching the show, or are you playing video games? Or is Glee on tonight?
I'm sitting in the workroom with no computer,
Oh.
and all I'm doing is listening to you guys talk on the phone.
Oh, okay. So the woman that was just telling the story about Bette Midler, that was Shawn.
Okay.
Would you like to say hello to
Listen,
her?
You're
Hello?
brimming with excitement. Bring it down.
Yeah, bring it down. Bring it down a notch.
Calm down.
So what's going on? Have you got a question for us tonight?
No, but I do have something I think is pretty darn awesome.
I would love to hear it.
Okay, so I just turned 15,
Right.
and for one of my birthday presents that my dad got,
Right.
my sister was driving us home, and my dad calls me on the phone, and I answer, of course. He says, Jordan, is it okay if I send you a picture? And I said, yes. He says, okay, it's of Chris Colfer. Then yes, Dad, yes. And he says, okay, well, it's of Chris Colfer signing a book for you. I'm like, what?
What?
And he says he's signing a book saying, happy birthday, Jordan.
How did your dad get that
So-
hookup?
So I'm getting in the mail in a couple of weeks the next Land of Stories book
Ooh.
with Chris saying, happy birthday, Jordan, and with his signature.
So where did your dad see? Now that's similar to like Shawn trying to talk to Bette Midler. How did your dad talk to Chris Colfer and get him to sign a book for you?
My dad called around to a bunch of different Barnes & Noble stores because Chris Colfer's book tour was mainly in California. And I can't really go to
Oh, wow! Your dad's
And-
awesome.
That's Chris Colfer. That's Chris
Yes,
Colfer.
he is.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's Ryan.
Oh, Alex thinks that Ryan looks like Chris Colfer.
You'd have to see this photo that
But
I'm looking
without
at.
the shaving accident.
Yeah, exactly. Let's not mention that again. But
That is really
That's
great,
awesome.
Jordan. That's so exciting. I can't think of a better present for you. Your dad is the best. He loves you so much. I love
know.
it. Thank you so much for calling in. We love you. All right, let's dive into questions. We are at 888-531-7171. Victoria writes, How can I find out if I am bi, gay, or straight? It's really bugging me. So sometimes in these very short questions, there's just so much packed in there. First of all, my question is that I don't. It seems like there's a lot of kids in the app who don't know their sexual preference, and they're really bothered by it. So, what is the urgency, do you think, to want to label yourself, and what causes the confusion? Because Shawn and I were talking about this before the show, because when we were kids, it was always like really clear who we had a crush on. Like we knew exactly who we had a crush on, and we weren't confused about what gender, that person was. So are there a lot of people that have crushes on boys and girls, or who haven't had a crush yet, and so they just don't know? Would you guys want to weigh in, Olivia?
I think you said it when it's like the kids who like haven't had a crush yet, or like a serious one. Because then I feel like it's like 5th and 6th grade where you get that crush, and it's just like, oh man, I'm in love with this person. I'm going to be in love with this person forever. And then you just kind of know. And it's like, it's either a guy or it's a girl.
Well, the thing is, I was in love with Jack Kemp when I was 8, and he was a football player for the Buffalo Bills who went on to become a congressman, Republican, don't hate me. But I knew like instantly in life that I liked boys. So I say to the kids, like, you don't have to label yourself. Like, it's really common to not know exactly what you are, even though I didn't have that experience. Go ahead, Kyo.
I think that, well, for one, I think you don't have to label yourself, and it doesn't matter. But a lot of people feel like they choose a thing and then they're locked into that thing.
Okay.
And I feel like you don't need to feel like this is a decision of your life. You can change whenever you want. Austin, go ahead.
Austin.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think a lot of it unfolds from the fact that, or what it seems like, that people in 5th grade, 6th grade, increasingly these days seem to have the urge to just get into a relationship. And probably if they don't know exactly what their preferences are, then that'll be something that's going to prevent them from being able to get into a relationship or make them hesitant. So they might feel left out because other people are getting into relationships and they're just confused. And
So it's sort of like declaring a major.
exactly. That's a great analogy.
Ryan?
It's like declaring a major, but nobody wants to be undecided. And
Yes.
like, so So, I mean, it's one of those things where you can say, like, as much as you want, oh, you don't have to label yourself, but there's still that urge inside to kind of figure out who you are and where you
Yes.
fall in terms of, like, all these different categories. And I think it's just important to just kind of wait it out and just kind of see how stuff plays out. But what do you think, Keo?
The analogy to declaring a major, I'll just tell you what I say when people ask me what my major is. I say, I don't know, but I'm starting with this. So, I mean, I don't know, but right now it's this. So, I mean, you can kind of think of it that way. Olivia?
Well, I remember in 7th grade, I was friends with a girl, and I had known her since, like, Mommy and Me, and she was just like, I might be bi. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then I looked over, and I'm like, could I be? And then I was like, nah. So that was my kind of decision. But I think it's, like, once you, like, somebody else, like, maybe either, like, comes out or, like, expresses, like, they might like someone of the same sex, you're just kind of like, could that be me too? And then you just kind of sit there for a second, and it's like, no, I couldn't do that.
Right, because so much of like our early childhood is like we think we're like our friends, and then when they say like, oh, you know, because everyone really, really young is saying stuff like, what's your favorite color? Because they want to know, like, you know, what's your favorite color? And is it the same favorite as me? Like, we're always trying to like measure ourselves against each other as we grow up. And Shawn, I don't know if you want to talk about this on the show, and we can just make it like a mythical creature that's not actual, you know, a friend of yours, but
Like
you,
Snuffleupagus?
yeah, but you are aware of a presence on this planet who was straight and married and everything, and then all of a sudden decided, I guess not, you know, and so
Yeah.
that
I had a friend at 42, married, 15 years, 4 kids, and a really solid communicative marriage, and she, you know, just came out.
fell in love with a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Just fell in love with a girl.
And she, you know, I said, growing up, did you know when we were kids, when we were in high school, were we in college, after college? Nope. Sometimes it just happens and something ignites it. But if, you know, again, if you're quick to call out what you think you are and you're not sure, I'd wait it out to see, you know, before everyone is so quick they want to say, I'm this or I'm that. But again, you know, it comes with age and experience, and there's no rush to be doing anything right now.
Right, and there wouldn't be billboards that say bi-curious if it weren't a thing. We are at 888-531-7171. Ryan, you wanted to make a point?
Yeah, no, I was going to say just kind of like that I forgot.
Okay.
Sorry.
So
I
you
totally
lost
just
a
lost
lot of
it.
blood in that shaving accident.
He's a little lightheaded right now.
I don't know,
All right.
I forgot that one.
We are Our Place Out Loud. I'm your lovely host, Louise Planker, here with Shawn Pelofsky, who is, you know, your huge gay following is listening to the show right now, correct, Shawn?
I'm sure they all need advice.
Or are they on a
I
cruise
try and
somewhere?
give it to them every day. Actually, they teach me everything I know.
Do they? Okay.
Uh-huh.
So this one, you liked this one. I read this to you before the show. So Feet Dude writes, ladies, what do you think of a guy that has a foot fetish? Would you still have a conversation with him? I wonder if he's talking about himself.
Wait, what I was going to say.
Okay, Brian.
I was going to say, sorry, because I remembered, like, the hard part is that there's no definitive lines for some people. Like, for some people, it's really clear, but for some people, it's kind of like this muddy water where you don't really know, like, where the line is drawn, and so that's what can be kind of confusing. So
Very
yeah.
well said. All right, on to Feet Dude. Olivia.
I mean, I would have a conversation with him because I feel like he wouldn't just start with, by the way, I have a foot fetish and my name is.
Feet Dude.
Oh, I would have a conversation with him because I would be like, so what's up with feet?
Yeah, well, that
Yeah.
too. But I had a dance teacher who was obsessed with my feet. And at the beginning of class, like every
Only
time.
creepy because you were a kid.
No, I mean, this was like, she was, I don't
it
know.
was a woman?
Yes.
A woman with a foot fetish?
No, obsessed with my feet. And
Wow.
every class, she's like, your feet look like cashews. I just want to eat them. And I'm just like, okay.
They do look like cashews. Now that I'm
Oh
looking
my
at them.
God. Call the authorities. Aaron.
So first off, I have one question for you, Wheezy.
Right.
On our question sheet, it says his name is Feet Dude. Was he anonymous, or did you call him Feet Dude?
I hope that he was not. Sometimes I accidentally, if they write to Ask Wheezy, sometimes I accidentally put their name, but I think this was in the courtyard.
So
I
his
think-
name is actually Feet Dude.
Yeah, his name is Feet Dude, and I think he
Yeah.
kind of wanted people to have his cover blown so that, because then in the rest of the thread, he was like, you would talk to me, and like he seemed relieved, because I think guys that, this is like the third or fourth guy in the app that with a foot fetish that we've heard from.
No.
Listen,
It is.
It's because everybody has different fetishes, and men have different fetishes. And if your biggest fetish is looking at someone's foot or admiring a foot, then God bless. There's no problem with that. I've dated guys that have foot fetishes, and as long as they had $15 million, it didn't really matter.
That's my point.
I mean, it really is just like a part of the body that he finds sexually arousing beyond just looking cute. Most guys will sexualize other parts of a female's body. So
Seriously.
what's really the difference, Aaron?
Yeah.
Also, like, not from personal experience, but from like secondhand experience. I know a person, a girl who was actually sort of making out with a guy with a foot fetish, and she liked him until their interactions became about the fetish. So in other words, if the foot fetish does not command your life, then you're fine, probably.
I mean, it can become overwhelming if the guy is constantly changing the conversation over to, can I touch your feet?
Right.
Because that's distracting. Because a guy who likes you, likes the way your face looks, likes the way your body looks, he's not going to be always talking about the way your face looks and the way your body looks. But foot fetish guys can go a little too far with it, and it becomes a little too much. So I don't know if that's the thing that makes it a little off-putting, is if they're not really focused on you as a person as much as they would rather just have your feet in a box, because
oh God,
they can't really sign up for that deal legally. Maddie.
I mean, in my opinion, I think the question is, would you still have a conversation with him? The answer is yes. I mean, it's not, unless they're being like really creepy about it, like talking to your feet, that'd be a little weird. But it's kind of.
I know, he's not having sex with clowns. You know what I mean? There is different types of weird fetishes out there, and believe me, feet. That's
Do you
nothing.
know someone with a clown fetish?
I've seen it as a fetish. Like, I had never personally met anyone who was like, I didn't go up to anyone with a horn and be like, you want to get? No, but it exists. There are videos dedicated to that.
Really?
Yes.
So if you had a foot fetish and a clown fetish, you would be into like really huge,
big, wacky feet.
Oh my gosh, I can see it now.
We should make that a YouTube channel. All right. So yeah, as long as you don't put the girl first, and we get that you are attracted to feet. Go ahead, Kimute.
I mean, that goes to say with anything. Put the
Yeah.
person's personality first.
Right.
For anything you find
Yeah.
sexually attractive.
All right. Who
But
wants
then buy
to
them really good couture shoes.
Yeah. Can we go on to the next question? And you would read it, Alex Silver.
Yeah. Well, before I read this, I thought of the phrase, when people call into the station and they say long-time listener, first-time caller.
Right.
So this guy says, artsy girl rather, says, this is my first time on the site, so here it goes. Tomorrow, my friend... Does anybody catch that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, okay. Tomorrow, my friend who is a guy is coming over to hang out. We're just friends, and I like it that way. But he really wants more, and I don't know how to let him down without losing him. What do I do?
So whenever there's an imbalance in a friendship where one person wants dating and the other person wants friendship, my opinion is the friendship is over. It's just going to get awkward and trying because you want different things, so you're not managing your expectations. Go ahead, Ryan. That's my opinion.
I think that's definitely true at an older age, but I think when people are young, it's kind of like, you like someone for a short little while and then you can totally move on from that sometimes. Sometimes you can't, but sometimes you can totally move on and just kind of be past that. And if he doesn't try and do anything about it and he just kind of moves on, then I
Yeah.
don't think that ruins the relationship.
And then
I think,
what does she say if he does say something?
I think you just have to say, you're one of my close friends, but I'm not interested in you.
Yeah, you have to be really clear. You can't keep him hoping.
Right, exactly.
That's a big mistake. Olivia.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that the friendship needs to take a break, because it's not fair. I mean, you just said it too. You can't keep him hoping, and I mean, and it's just gonna suck for him. Imagine if you were in that position. You would want to take a break, get over it, and then you can go back to being friends. It just, when there is an imbalance, it's not going to work.
Well, I have liked guys that I wanted more with, and they were my best friends. And it was seemed to be happening 2-3 times in a row. This was my pattern. I guess I wanted someone to not want to get too close because they really didn't want a relationship or whatever my issues were. I have issues, Shawn.
You do?
Yeah.
I have none.
No, I know. That's why I'm trying to make you feel really good about yourself by telling you what's wrong with me. But every so I can speak from experience where everything that they would say, you would try to interpret as, oh, I think this means he's starting to like me. And, because girls we can twist anything to our favor.
Yeah, like even in like kindergarten, like if a boy hits you, they're like, oh no, that means he likes you. It's like, no, that means he hit you.
That means he's an assassin.
But I don't
no, sometimes it does
necessarily
mean that
agree
they
with
like
that
you.
because I have one of my best friends and guy friends, the only one who's not gay, is I knew through like summer camp and we went to USC together, and I knew, and I still know, and any boyfriend I ever dated, they all knew. You can tell how he feels about me, and we're still really close. We're still best friends, and he got married and he has kids, and just that's the way it's gonna be.
So his wife's okay with like the giant picture of you over the mantle?
I don't think that's happening, but there's just no threat there, and it's just we still are close friends, so it can be.
Okay, I guess I guess it can be, as long as the other person kind of accepts that's like with my best friend, who's like still my best friend that I did like at one point. I got to a place where like I got it, status quo. This is where this is, and I'm married now, and that person is still my best friend. Yeah, he is, and so it absolutely can happen, but there's a growing pain period where you have to acknowledge what is and stop hoping for what isn't. Because if it's not going to be, that part of your heart has to be free for the person that wants to love you that way. Kyo.
I would say you should be ready to let the relationship, the friendship end.
Take a break even.
Yeah, take a break.
Yeah.
I think you should give him, tell him the truth and tell him that you don't see him that way or anything, and let him decide how he wants to handle it, and because it's going to be painful for him, and it's going to be painful if you're still trying to be friends and close to him, because he's not going to want to push you away. He's definitely not going to want to do that, but he's going to want more than you're going to be able to give him.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, and I have said to guys that I like that way that didn't like me back, well, I need some space. Like, I need a few months to get not be having feelings for you, so that I could be around you and not feel sad. Maddie.
I mean, if it were me, what I would say to the guy is exactly what you wrote here, is that, we're just friends, I like it that way, but I don't want to, lose you as a friend, so is there a way we can make this work or not? You know?
But Maddie, don't you think that you also don't get to keep him as a friend if that's going to be continuous? Like, it has to be on his terms. He gets to choose whether or not that kind of relationship is okay, because...
Well, no, I mean, but, if you said to him, if this works for you, I'd still like
if
to
that
be
works
friends.
for you. But I don't like it when people say, well, I want you exactly here. I don't want you here, and I don't want you here. You can't torture the person. If they need to be further away, they get to go.
Well, I mean, but I think it's more of just the invitation. If this works for you,
Yeah.
I'd still be happy to be your friend.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Cute.
Yeah, because he might be feeling like you don't want to be friends at all, so definitely keep that.
Yeah.
Keep it clear that you still want
But that's an option. We are at 888. Do we have a phone call right now? We are at 888-531-7171. And Maddie, would you please read the letter from S. Splash?
Sure. Can someone please help? I start middle school tomorrow, and I know what people in my school will be like because I've met some on the school bus when I was in 5th grade. I know that some girls in my grade are having sex with boys, kids are smoking weed, and some are on drugs and have weapons. What should I do? It's my first day of 6th grade. Also, I have a picture day.
Okay, do you
Did
go
you say
to
6th grade?
Does she go to school in prison? Where? What is this school district?
I like
saw
how
an episode.
CSI.
The greatest thing about the letter is the last sentence.
Yeah.
So make sure you
Also,
look good at
like-
the end of all that.
So
Don't have a
hold
shaving
fire.
accident.
It's picture day. The hands are flying up, so let's start with Aaron and then go around.
I mean, I've heard stuff like this before, and really, sure, school can be terrible, but often, as you're getting into a new school or you're going up in a grade, you hear all these stories.
Oh, yeah.
All these
Yeah.
bloated stories
Oh,
from
it's-
people who want to sound maybe cooler than they actually are, or whatever they're thinking, right? Just look at all the drama in my life. Oh, how cool! And a lot of it doesn't actually happen.
No, I always saw big kids as badasses. Always. They were very scary to me. Bigger than me. They
Older.
were posturing. They were saying they were doing things they weren't doing. We're going to just go around Austin.
I can definitely relate to that. Before I went to UC Santa Barbara, everyone was building up as this mega party school. And
No,
I'm not
it's
saying it's not
not.
a party school, but
No, it definitely
it
is
is
a bar.
grossly exaggerated. And people say, oh, yeah, college is all about drinking. You're going to be drinking all the time. But, I mean, really only a small percentage of college students do, like, the vast majority of the drinking. So, like, what I would say to her is use common sense and just stay away from the wrong crowd, because whatever you're hearing is either grossly exaggerated, or if it's really that bad where using common sense can't land you in a good position, then switch schools.
You know,
That's all it
any
comes down
weapons
to.
should be reported. If kids in 5th or 6th grade are having sex, they're liars.
Yeah.
And make your friends and stick with your friends. You don't have to be friends with, like, we called the kids that would smoke in the bathroom gutter tramps. No offense. Some of
Why are
them
you
were
looking at
probably-
me?
Yeah. No, I'm just wondering if
No,
at your
she-
school you had a name for them.
She was looking at the troll doll up there. 'Cause
Were there kids that
Stoners.
smoked?
I didn't even
Stoners, yeah.
Seriously, I'm
and like
still
you
afraid of
stepped over
pot.
them
Look
to
at
get.
me.
Yeah, you would step over them to get to the, and you knew they were out there talking about you while you know. So that part, and so I didn't have any respect for those kids. I just feared them. But you don't have to respect people you fear. You can also kind of loathe them. And so whatever talk you're hearing on the bus, ignore it. You're going to find your crowd. Go ahead, Liv.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I promise you, you will find friends. And, I mean, it might be a little difficult at first because you're going to be going into it with, like, this huge fear, but you will find people. And I say to, like, join a club at school because, like, just pick something you're interested in. Just join it, meet people, and then you'll see that there are other people like you there, and it's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm. Maddie.
I recommend some anti-frizz product for your picture day. But I mean, it's if you actually see someone smoking weed in your school, report it. Just like Weezy said, because that's just, you know, not good.
Yeah, I mean, some of the activities that you mentioned are highly illegal. And so you do get to, if you feel scared or threatened, you do get to tell someone, Ryan? Or were you not done, Maddie?
No, I just wanted to say one more thing. And, like, exactly like Olivia said, most of it is stories. Like, 99% of what you hear is stories. And just kind of come into that with that attitude, and you will find people who are legitimately really nice people and aren't doing all the crazy stuff. So,
Yeah.
Ryan, what do you think?
Thank you, Maddie. Well, I think that this reminds me all too much of a Chris Rock sketch, a stand-up sketch where he starts talking. I mean, whatever happened to Crazy, but then he starts going into how it's like it's about the parents. You know what I mean? And so, like, if kids, not that this isn't happening, it's all like inflated stories. But if kids at your school are really like acting like they're smoking weed and having sex and like using weapons when they're 11, I was 11 in 6th grade, and like they're. Like, to me, 11-year-olds are like little kids.
They are little kids.
Like,
we had one on the show a couple of weeks. He was 12, and he was awesome. But, you know, 12-year-olds they are young kids.
yeah.
They're very young. And so the concept of the kid that was sitting on that stool a couple of weeks ago smoking weed, that would be very, very frightening to me. But he probably looks like a big kid to smaller kids.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
he's not smoking weed.
But he was a big kid.
He
He was pretty tall. I mean, for his
for a-
age,
well,
for sure.
he was
intimidating.
He was, yeah. Well,
I went home and cried.
did you have a point, Alex Silver, or
Well, basically, I was just saying that. I was just going to say that one, pictures are always important because
you have to look good on picture day?
So definitely ask the photographer if you can see the proof. That's number one.
Oh yeah.
You can definitely see it now. Two, and like everybody's saying, there's a lot of stories, but don't be blind to all the stuff, because if it does happen, like they're saying, report it. Because I don't know exactly about Austin's figures, but I think Aaron can testify that there's still stuff going on in middle school and high school, even though.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I'm sure that there is, but not to the extent that you're hearing. But here's the most important thing to remember. You feel this way about what's going on. You are not the only person who feels that way about what's going on. And I know that you'll be able to find those people and you'll get along really well.
Yeah, most kids do not want all the stuff that you mentioned. Jake, did you have a point?
I did, actually.
Okay.
Why would you want to look good for picture day? That's really boring. You're not going to look back and go, oh, look how good I looked. That's really boring. Why would you want that? You want a goofy picture where you look silly, like, oh, I was so silly when I was a kid.
So get really, really big frames.
I'll pull one
Oh,
up.
The trick-
Sean, we
All
want to
right,
see
That's
you.
a challenge, huh?
The trick is that whenever the photographer
Keo?
Yeah. You don't need to be worried about the other kids, because generally, if there is a kid doing that, they're not going to be coming to you and being like, come on, come do this. They might say it like once, and then you can just be like, no, I'm okay. And then they'll leave you
Yeah.
alone.
They don't force it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they want to be around kids that are also doing that because that makes them feel less guilty about doing it.
Yeah.
Austin?
Yeah, I can totally relate to that as well because I've been offered some things throughout the years, but I've said
But they weren't at
Candy.
UCSB, were they?
No.
no comment. But
Reese's Pieces.
whenever I said no, like, no one ever said, "Come on, try it." Like, the second I said no, they're like, "Okay." That
Yeah.
it's never been not the case.
Did you say, no, drugs are whack? What comic does that? What comic does that joke?
Oh my God.
No, you summed up the 90s just then.
Yeah.
Oh, here.
We
Okay,
wanna-
guys.
Can
we
we
want
see-
to talk
This is going to make
awkward?
everyone
Come
feel
on.
good about picture day.
Here we go.
Sean's shame. Wow, what a hottie.
Looking good, Hakuna Matata.
What a hottie. Look at that smile.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we're going to jump right to Thread Theater. And I know I didn't assign roles because it's kind of a short run. I want to make sure we get this in because it's an important. So let's go see what the parts are. Country Guy, Jenny, Cookie Monster, Love Pink, and Domo Rainbow. So let's just start with Alex and Ryan and go around and as far as we go.
So I'm Jenny.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
For sure.
It probably won't get that far.
Okay. And
Action.
of course, why don't girls pay attention to the nice guys? They just go for the guy who treat them bad, which just makes me mad.
What makes me mad is when the nice guys just give up because they've heard some sort of cliched myth about girls not liking them, and then they never make any effort to tell a girl they like them.
That was Jenny, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cookie Monster. Sorry, usually I say the names during Thread Theater. Sorry, Cookie Monster 2222222. Maddie,
Jenny.
Maddie, come on.
Sorry, I thought you were gonna. Okay, sorry. I agree with Jenny. If you tell the girl you like her, she'll think it's really sweet. But if you did that and she still doesn't like you, then you can't change a girl's mind in 5 minutes.
Love Pink 101.
Although those rough and tough, mean guys, blech, I'm definitely more for the sweet, funny, caring, nice guys. I'd love for a guy just to say, I look nice today, or tell me they like me. I'd be more afraid if it was one of those mean, harsh guys.
Domo Rainbow. Austin.
Sometimes you need to know bad before you can appreciate the good.
And
So is that, Sean? Is that some girls' explanation as to why girls date bad boys? Because you have to experience a bad boy so that you can appreciate a good boy.
I'm still experiencing them. So I think, to each their own. If you like the good guy, I'd say aim for the good guy. But you're going to run into a lot of bad guys probably before you hit a good one.
Austin. I mean, what's your name, Aaron?
Olivia, we'll get to you in a second. I just want to say one thing really quick that I think is funny. I just saw an episode of Cheers talking about this, and it was just like exactly what Dumbo Rainbow was saying. Sometimes you need to know bad before you can appreciate the good. Like, that was the point of the episode. And I just think that's really funny. It was last night that I saw it.
Yeah, I think but I don't think that explains the attraction to bad boys that some girls feel. Olivia?
Well, I can't explain that, but I will say I agree with Jenny. It pisses me off when, because I have most of my friends are guy friends, and they're just like, man, no one likes the nice guy, and they just get friend zoned, and it's like, stop it, you're not trying. Like, you're just assuming that no one will like you, so you don't try, and then you allow yourself to be put in this friend zone, which doesn't actually exist. So
Exactly. The friend zone is a myth, and I'm going to tell you one of my theories, and here it goes. And this is like, I learned this in stand-up comedy, because there'd be like really nice guys like Marty Pelofsky would be like, I get no game, and I'd be like, Marty.
Because if I married Marty Pelofsky, I would be what? Shawn
Sean
Pelofsky.
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 But I said, what happens is like the right girl for you, Marty, is not bum rushing the comic. She's quietly leaving the club with her friends and going home. You have to approach girls, because what happens is like nice guys wind up with like that girl that's just like very controlling and approaching all the guys, and wants to find a meek guy that she can control, and then the bad boy guy is the one approaching all the shy girls, and so that's why there's so many mismatches. and that's why everyone should become friends and then decide who they want to date. Because like, do you agree with me that like, especially in show business, like, who are the girls that come up to the comics? Like, not the nice girls, you know?
Not true.
No.
All women, if a guy is funny,
No, they
mm,
don't.
I have friends that find some comics funny, and they're bad guys or they're good guys, whatever. It doesn't matter. They find them funny and they want to meet them, and they're nice girls.
No,
I
the
disagree with
quietest
that.
girls just go in their car and go home.
Not necessarily. The quietest girl will turn to me and say, "Can you introduce me to him?"
Oh, really? Okay. Well, you're in. You know. Okay. If hands are up, go ahead, Maddie.
I'm not exactly sure because this is like not really something you can have as fact, but I'm pretty sure that it's not like 90% of girls are will only like bad boys, and then the rest of the 10% sometimes like that's not really how it works. It's like there are just as many girls who like nice guys than like the bad boys. It's like it's not like there's way more than one or the other.
There's no such thing as always. The only thing there's just no always. Like, so when you just throw up your hands and make that statement, like Jenny was kind of frustrated with the question. Like Jenny was just like, why do people always say that? But no one always says that either. But the point she was making is that she doesn't want nice guys to give up because you still have to try to talk to different people. And if you see a specific and it's the specific that you want, like you see the girl that you like dating a bad boy, that feels like always. But it's not always. It's just this one specific incident that's making you crazy because why isn't she giving you a chance? Kimute.
I don't really like the word nice guys and bad boys and things like that. I think people are a lot more dynamic than that, and sometimes they're good and sometimes they're bad, and it depends on all the circumstances being right. And I think that generally speaking, a nice guy is kind of just quieter and maybe less confident, and if you're a bad boy, then you're louder. So if you're louder and talking to more people, you're more likely to meet someone.
Ryan, I'm really curious as to what you have to say.
Why?
Because I don't know.
She likes
You
hearing
trust
what-
my advice?
You always have
you
such
had your hand
good
raised
insights.
No, I mean, I was going to partly say what Kimute was saying, which is just that a lot of being like that nice guy is also just being kind of quiet and shy sometimes, and that doesn't always work out. I'm not saying that's always the case, but then like on what Olivia was saying, I'd have to disagree with you that there's no such thing as the friend zone. I think some girls don't have it. But there are definitely girls out there who just have guys like as friends, no matter, forever. Like there's like, this guy is my best friend, and that's it, even if the guy doesn't want that, and that's what it is. So, I mean,
I actually think girls are more likely to fall in love with a best friend than a guy is. Because a guy is like either like romantically attracted to you at the beginning or not, and girls can become romantically attracted to a best friend once we get to know him really well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that, Shawn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the when boys complain about friend zoning, they're the worst at friend zoning. Way worse than us at friend zoning.
Yep.
Alex.
Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely think that guys that are friends with a girl can just give them what they want, and I mean that in like as like give them what they want in a friend in many different ways, and just appeal to the persons. And so they say, oh, my friend has these qualities, and it's just that's what they want in a guy, and they can't find someone out there because their friend's standing right in front of them sometimes. And so it's really, but it's kind of a risky move, like the question from earlier about having a friend or being more than friends.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta play it out and see how it goes, because every situation's a little different.
You can play it out to like point of diminishing return, where it's like, am I going to be able to fall in love with someone else if I'm still friends with this person, which is what it kind of boils down to at a certain point in time. Keo?
I think that there are a lot of guys that have awful personalities that think that they're nice guys just because they're quiet.
Yeah, they could really be jerks.
Yeah.
All right, Shawn, here's a good question for you. From Don't Care, Totally Fine, which is a very like defensive
Degaff.
screen name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Me and my boyfriend met today.
My boyfriend and I.
You're just like my husband. He's constantly
Yeah, that's
correcting my
correct.
grammar.
No,
That's
no,
correct.
that's not actually a real rule. Like when
No. It's that
Thank
what
you,
she
Alex.
said was correct.
Thank you,
No,
Alex.
no,
I've got some
it's not-
beer and
Her
chips in my
correction was
car.
correct.
No, it's not wrong. Neither of them is wrong. Neither of them is wrong.
No. We can go on this later,
Neither
but
not.
what she said in that verbiage was correct. Go
How
on.
come you're ignoring the biggest red flag in this sentence, which is
My boyfriend and I just met today.
Oh. About the question.
They just met.
Mind blown.
But
Well,
they're
let's read
together.
the question and explain
Okay.
that.
Me and my boyfriend
After.
met today, so assuming they were online dating or whatever, and it was very awesome finally meet him and laugh with him, and I really love him. But the thing is, my parents aren't in favor of me dating a black person, and I'm scared that if this gets serious, I won't be able. There's so much wrong in here that I won't be able to. To continue on further, I can't even reason with my dad. What do I do?
And,
All
and,
right.
and first off, then let me we're not laughing because it's like it's a horrible situation, but we're laughing because like we live in a part of the country where this is like not even
not even a thing.
not even an
Like-
issue here.
Change scene.
Who's his mother? Paula Dean? I mean, like let's really be real here. Come
Oh
on.
my God.
Like again, of course, but this is already sounds just it's this whole question. It just sounds it's very loaded.
No, I know it's loaded with like a whole.
Especially with bad verbs and language, but
Right.
But the thing is, I guess it does sound like. I mean, at least it wasn't. It's like the show Catfish. It sounds like somebody had been talking online. They finally met, and this person is happy with them. And apparently, parents aren't going to like everybody you bring home or you tell them about, but. Eventually it's going to be your decision.
Right, but assuming this is a kid, like I don't think people should be dating people they don't know from the internet until they're over the age of 18, just for safety purposes. But she did meet him, and he is a person.
Does it say how old? I mean, do you
No,
know
they
how old
didn't.
this
They
person
could be
is?
over 18, and if you're over 18, it doesn't matter if your parents are racist. You know, although you still have to live in that family.
Well, it matters if your
So,
parents
yeah,
Right,
are
no, it
racist.
matters.
Yeah, if you're home.
It totally matters.
I mean,
but
because you could be the person who opens their eyes that people are people, and that you could be the lesson that they need to learn at this time in their lives. Oh no,
It's hard.
well, hands are going up, Ryan.
I definitely think some people could open their the parents' eyes, but I mean if some people are really stubborn. Some people are just really stubborn, and if you're still racist, I know there's a lot of racism still, but a lot of people are much more accepting today. Not everywhere, but if you're still kind of racist, that's still on the stubborn side, in my opinion, because things are changing, just not as much in other places. And so, for your parents to not be okay with you dating someone who's black or Hispanic or Jewish or whatever it may be, is sometimes they just might not open their eyes to that, and that could create a lot of issues. If you
So
bring
they're
them
going to
a
have to
family
open their
dinner.
eyes because now she's black and she's not going to go back.
Hey,
Uh-oh.
there.
All right,
There we
so
go.
should, even as racist as your parents are, should you date someone that you're not going to be able to bring home and have?
Of course.
How old are you?
Well, assuming they're 18.
Yes.
Okay, because I
Date
don't know their
them.
age, but
If
let's
you
assume they're
lose.
18. Should you date someone that your parents are going to hate for some ridiculous, random reason? Or should you say, you know what, my family means a lot to me, and I don't want to have this tension every time I bring this guy around. I want them to know the father of their grandchildren, Aaron.
this is a divisive thing right here
Yeah.
because it's basically saying, all right, so you choose between your family or your
Which a lot of people do, like watch Breaking Amish. For God's sake.
what?
And we do.
Wow. I have no idea what that is, but
That means
it sounds fascinating.
No.
I've never
Get
heard
out.
of it. Okay.
You are the weakest link.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I've,
Well, it's like if you want to not be Amish, you have to say goodbye
Okay.
to everything
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
I know that.
I just
it's
would
a
say
show.
if you're going to choose to really, I mean, if you're living under your parents' roof, I
Yeah.
would choose probably to wait to defy them like I did. When, it was years after I graduated college and I broke up with a Jewish boyfriend and I dated someone Palestinian just to defy my family. But I
Scandal.
could because I was
You were a
in
grown-up
my late
lady.
20s.
Yeah, that's right. You pick. It's your guy. Go ahead, Maddie.
I mean, I think that if you're at the point where you feel like marriage is a possibility with this person, or you're really, really serious with them,
Don't marry someone.
no, theoretically, I'm not talking about
Day,
this
honeymoon
exact
tonight.
situation. It's different than the situation, but if if that's the case and your parents are just against it for, like you said, some weird reason, then I mean, I think that it's okay to defy your parents. But
Well-
if you, like they said, just met someone today, don't be like, parents, I'm leaving. This is not happening just because you don't like this person that I met today. It's take everything into account. So, Keo, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, I basically agree with Aaron. It's about your family's opinion versus your own principles. And I think sometimes you kind of have to ignore your own principles just to be practical. And if it's like something that you have to, it might just be something you have to deal with. But sometimes it's really important to stand for your principles. So
Absolutely. And you have your whole adult life to live, to be the authentic person that you wish to become. And so maybe when you're under your parents' roof, sort of kind of keep it sort of to yourself. He's your online boyfriend, it sounds like, anyway. Continue. But don't make a big deal about it in the household until you're grown up and ready to move out. I want to give a round of applause to our guest in the studio, Shawn Pelofsky. She's hilarious.
She's pulling out the shirt.
She's hilarious, and we love her. And thank you to all the team panelists and the crew and the cast. And
Thanks, Wheezy.
you're welcome, Shawn. We will see you next time. Goodbye. This is Our Place Out Loud.
I've been out there wandering. I've been in here wondering, hoping, reaching, wishing I could find my way.